Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. I think my game crashed. My game did crash. That's a first. Let's try that again. Better.
Hey.
Alright, welcome everybody. We are back with our Pillars of Eternity blind playthrough. We are in the Black Meadow.
Hey.
We just buried a... what do we bury? It was like a whale idol or something. There we go. A scroll. So we're gonna return to Grimda and Copper Lane and tell her what we did. And then we're gonna continue to do some side quests and move on into the main story.
Hey.
So first thing, let's get out of here.
All right then.
Let's head back to Copper Lane. Bright Hollow Courtyard Pool construction completed. Yes. Let's do... let's do... we need to do the Western Barbican so we can do some of these other items. Ooh, that would be nice too. Yeah, let's go ahead and do the Western Barbican. 3 days to finish. And I think I need to hire some more people. Let's do a cleric, a shock mage, soldier, warden, and archer. Go ahead and fill out those slots. That way we can have plenty of defenses in our keep.
Hey.
And now let's go to... where is Grimda? Grimda is a high archivist. Where did I see her at? Hall of Revealed Mysteries. Let's go there. Believe that was here. Yep. How's everyone doing this afternoon? TGIF, I always say. Where is Grimda? There she is.
Gods keep you.
I found the scroll, but Whale asked me to hide it again. I'd call anyone else a liar with a story like that, but coming from you, there's a certain logic after all. And if you served Whale, then you served me too. Whale is both a keeper and a discoverer of secrets. May this hood aid you in revealing what is obscured and keep you hidden from those who wish you harm. Footpad's Hood. You're also free to visit the Elder Archives and take whatever books or scrolls you find in the open. Spreading and circulating new mysteries is part of our service to the obscured. What else do you need? I don't need anything else. Where is the archives? What did I get? Footpad's Hood gives me +1 to resolve. No. Stealthy. Perception +1. +2 stealth. That is going to grow onto my ranger, I believe.
Hey.
And the archives. I'm guessing.
All right then.
Where are the archives? Here, I guess. Scroll of Valor and Defense. Ooh.
Poison.
I really need a ranger. Not a ranger, I really need a rogue. Traps are killing me. Literally. Alright. Let's do something else. That is done. Talk to Eater. No Drance. Endless paths. Cliffs. Enter the catacombs. That might be a good one to do. Yeah, let's do the catacombs one. Alright. Catacombs are right there. Search for Rowena. As you approach the dead man, you can feel the faint traces of his soul lingering, a stunned uncertainty holding it in place. When you near, without warning, the soul hurries toward you, as though you were a solitary light in the dank gloom of this place, come to usher it away. Its essence invades your consciousness. You are in a different body now, walking deeper into the catacombs, cloaked in a dark robe with a mask pulled over your face. You're following a familiar path along the canal, heading to a room built around a statue of a figure wearing a robe much like yours. Others await, clothed in hoods and shadows. Ahead is another figure dressed like you, traveling in the same direction. You don't know it's his name, and that's how it's supposed to be. Out of the darkness, something monstrous grabs the other figure. You turn to flee, but find yourself face to face with a troll. The panic pounding through your brain is interrupted by razor-edged teeth and claws. You snap yourself out of the dead man's memory. The corpse lies in the damp and grimy ground. His hood and mask are missing and his clothes are shredded. You alright? Looked almost like you'd lost your footing for a minute. Feels that way when I see into the ether. You really are a watcher, aren't you? Once in a great many generations, one of my people is born with the ability to speak to souls. Usually such individuals become elders, or a lone set of tracks in the snow. I would have thought my journey would be easier if I could see what you see, but looking at you, I'm not so sure. Neither am I. Believe it or not, I once would have rejoiced to know I'd be picked to travel far in search of something great. But even these gifts come with a cost, don't they? Forgive me if I was a little skeptical of your abilities before. I can't say I've met a real watcher before. Oh, don't worry about him. He just likes doing that from time to time. Seems to cheer him up, so I just let him. Once you've seen it a few times, the shock wears off. Every time he goes a little strange in the face, I try and see if I can hear anything. It hasn't worked so far. See if you can get him to tell you what the spirits said. Hilarious. Alright, let's
I shall be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
Lesser Black Ooze. Black Ooze. Dead.
Get on!
Alrighty.
Hey. Hey.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Ooh. Gotta love a good catacomb. Oh.
Get on!
Oh, there's a troll over there. Gonna use this one. Oh crap.
Get on!
Blew him up.
Hey.
Alright.
Of course.
Get on!
Man,
Hey.
combat has gotten so much easier over the few hours that I've played. Thankfully. At first it was like, I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to finish this game. But then you get the hang of it.
Leave it to me.
Oh no.
Settle!
Varanthus!
I'm just gonna
I shall be quiet as a calm sea,
move down this
which
way.
is not very quiet.
Come over here. Let's go in here. Seems like a great place for a trap. Nope, no trap. Alright, don't want to go downstairs yet. Temple of Wodica. Oh. Skeletons.
What? What? This isn't working. Let's
Nice. There we go.
Hey,
Hey. More skellies? Oh, okay. Let's take down the wizard.
Shot at this.
Oh yeah. Okay. You attack, and then you guys. Yeah.
This isn't working.
leave it to me.
Not bad, not bad.
Hey,
I shall be discreet.
Alright, let's see.
all right then.
Cool. Let's go this way. Pistol. Oh.
Rest up, big guy. We've got your back.
Man.
Hey,
Hello.
I
Hello?
actually detected a trap. Can't disable it though. Great.
On the wit feather yet!
So dumb. So dumb.
Hey,
Yeah, my cleric is nice and low on health. Nice and low on health.
all right then.
A lone figure in tattered robes shuffles across the chamber, muttering under his breath. As you approach, the figure halts and swivels its head toward you. Its haggard visage is a labyrinth of wrinkles and sores overgrown by a moss-like beard. What's this? Who disturbs Helig's work? Its voice rattles and gurgles like that of a drowning man. You're Helig? Dalton sent me to look for Rowena. He leans back and bursts into raucous laughter. His threadbare robes drift apart, revealing an amulet, and a ragged wound running from chest to throat. It spatters a black, viscous fluid in the floor with every cackle. That old fool is still alive. I do hope he still doesn't bear a grudge for that incident. It was so very long ago. Dalton believes that Rowena is in the catacombs. He seems to restrain another bout of chuckling. Oh, you could say that. If you were to retrieve my grimoire from Modred, I'll let you in on the secret. Alright. When animancy started gaining popularity, I came to Defiance Bay in hopes of finding a place where my research would meet with more acceptance. Worked at the Brackenbury Sanitarium for a few months when I met Modred. Let's just say Modred and I didn't see eye to eye. Got so bad we were threatening to kill each other on a daily basis. Obviously that bastard made good on his threat. He runs a jagged fingernail along his oozing wound. Sank a dagger into my chest while I was sleeping and dumped my body in the catacombs. You used animancy to save yourself? Oh no. This is magic, and it took a great deal of rather timely preparation, I must say. Even so, it merely anchored my soul to this decaying husk. Nothing like the life that was stolen from me. And yet you see what a little Ingwithan magic can do. My mind is my own, my memory is fresh, and my work can continue. And Modred keeps all that is precious to him in a trunk in his laboratory, just as he stole my grimoire. On your way to Brackenbury Sanitarium, then. Bring me my grimoire and my revenge, and you can have your Rowena. If there's nothing else, be on your way. What are those creatures behind you? Just a few personal projects. Sorry souls stuck in their mortal shells. Their flesh is as dead as mine, though their minds are not as well maintained. They flock to me like worms to drakes. They're not half as intelligent, but they serve for amusement. What are you doing down here? Research. A hodgepodge of animancy and necromancy. I have peace and quiet as well as an abundant supply of subjects. Interesting. Revenants. Tarnished locket.
Nice and quiet.
Yeah. Too late.
And the fire shows me something new.
See if I can get through this like this.
I'm here. Hey.
Oh my
course.
gosh. It's ridiculous. What? What combat? There's no combat. I mean, I'm dying. Alright, I'm gonna rest here, I guess. cleared this area out. Let's go back up here. There's something up here, I think. And then we can cross the bridge.
Hey.
Okay.
Something over there.
Hey, I disarmed it. Few trinkets.
Hey.
Ooh.
Something over there.
Cloak of Prevalent Shadows. Aura of Stealth. What did she have on? Necklace of Fireballs. I haven't used that. I actually forgot that I had that on. +1 stealth. I really need a rogue. We'll go with that for now. Hey, Dwarven Dad, good afternoon. How are you doing this fine Friday? We shall see.
Hey.
Nothing. Alright, crossing the bridge. Just alright. Got any weekend plans? What is that noise? What? That was weird.
Of course.
Sporelings. Oh, there's a bunch of them. Let's try this.
Settle!
Boom. Arc you. Got wounds. Boom. Yeah.
Yes?
Let's do a little healing and a little healing. Not good. See if we can knock down the necro. Okay, back up. Let's do that. And ooh. Boom.
Dead on.
Let's get some monk powers. Monk powers. Monk powers.
Stand together!
Monk powers.
For Athens!
Dead on.
Right in the back. Shotgun to the back.
Leave it! Give it to me!
Hey,
Oh, what's this? Scepter vessel bone. Okay. Oh.
I shall be discreet.
Yep.
hey,
Form up and sally forth. Another troll.
This isn't working!
That's it!
Oh.
hey.
I'm on the trail.
Oh, okay.
Brave thou Philotheles.
I love the guns in this game. They picked a real satisfying sound to represent the guns.
Hey,
I shall be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
Alrighty. Let's go down here. We shall see if I can pick this lock. I don't have a rogue. Yep, let's try to pick this lock. I hear noises. Sounds like skeletons.
I can do that. That's settled.
Yep. Okay.
Can't get a good shot.
Stand together!
Oh. Skeletal wizard. All kinds of stuff.
Absolutely. Hey,
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
Great sword. Who dat? Awesome.
Keeping an eye out.
Okay. Area clear. I always wonder what skeletons do, like, you know, when we're not here. What are they doing? Just shuffling around? Are they playing poker with each other? Are they just laying about? What is their purpose? The small Orlin man appears to have pulled together some crates and scraps of cloth to make a rather sorry-looking little camp. The thick fur on his limbs is matted, and his clothing smeared with blackening grime. He looks startled as you enter, his eyes widening in alarm.
How do you do?
Hello there, wasn't expecting any visitors down in these parts. Have you seen a woman named Rowena? Sorry, but I don't know anyone by that name. I know I'm not the only one down here, however. I hear voices now and then from across the canal. Sounds like they're coming from the northwest. Anything else I can do for you? What are you doing down here? I've been a little down on my luck lately. Didn't have anywhere to stay, so I thought I'd come down here. Nobody pokes around in the catacombs much. Not until you, anyway. There are less dangerous places to live as meager a life. You're hiding something or someone. Yeah, I guess that's plain enough to see. Very well, it's true. I've been hiding from the knights down here. But it isn't what you think. It was an accident. It's been hard for me here in Defiance Bay. I suppose I thought if I got involved in city business, if I made the right friends, it would get easier in time. And it did, really. I made a name for myself, a place. People actually listen to me when I talk. Well, they used to. People can get very passionate about these things. We were discussing, I think it was shipping agreements, of all the things to fight over. But this one night, this man, he got very angry. I think maybe he had a little too much at the inn. And I guess he didn't like an Orlin talking back at him. I struck him. He came towards me, and I hit him, and he went over like a tree. I guess he struck his head on the way down. Turns out he was a knight. The Crucible Knights won't care how it happened. They just want me gone. They won't let me live long enough to see the rope. Please. I just want to get out of this city. The second I can get money for passage, I won't trouble anyone again. I swear it. I'll live quietly. But you can't. Please, you can't tell them I'm here. Ah. Take prisoner. I won't let the knights take you, but I can't just let you go free. I can imprison him in my keep. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Eorn lowers his head. I had hoped to be out of the city by now. I guess I can't outrun what I've done. At least you are leaving me with my life. A voice from the past. What? Oh. Unwanted. He pleaded. I decided he didn't deserve the knight's vengeance for his freedom. I took him prisoner myself and sent him to the dungeon at my stronghold. Haha.
Nice and quiet.
Taxes collected, lost 254 CP to bandits, earned 240. I almost made out even on that. There he is. Eorn was a fugitive wanted for the murder of one of the Knights of the Crucible. I found him hiding in the catacombs beneath Defiance Bay and chose to administer my own justice for his crimes. So I can release him anytime I want. Camping supplies. Queen that was and still is. Alright, let's go here.
That's it!
Okay, that is clear. Now, the question is, do we go to the Temple of Wodica now, or do we go back up into Copper Lane and do some other things? Because that's the Temple of Wodica is part of our main quest. But that will lead us to the First Fires. The First Fires had several quests that I have already anyway. Let's do that. We'll go to Wodica, clear that out, and then come out on the other side at First Fires. Whoa. In front of you looms the ghostly hollow image of the man who was present at your awakening. He casts a pale, sickly light in the dank corridor as he regards you.
You are from Kraytoon, my boy.
Only recently?
A remarkable city. Truly one of the most impressive we have encountered outside of our own. Many exceptional people who have joined our cause come from Kraytoon. What made you decide to join our order?
I don't know. The gods have been good to me and I wish to repay them.
They will smile upon your service as long as it is performed in earnest. Are you ready to take the oath? To spread the word of the gods to the lost and heathen?
I am. Well, that was cool.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
That looks like a fake wall. Oh!
Now this I haven't seen before.
Awesome. Ooh. Oh! Okay. Back up. Back up. Okay. Do your duty, cleric who is acting as my rogue. Dang it.
What?
Maybe you can get this one.
That's settled.
Ring of Deflection. Yes, please. +9 deflection. That's good. He's already got a Ring of Deflection. He's got a Gon's Pledge. He's got Combusting Wounds. He's full. He has nothing. She has nothing. Let's give it to Kana.
Hey.
And let's go ahead. Alrighty. What are you doing here? You don't look like one of that masked lot. What's going on here? Since you don't know, you clearly don't belong here. Alrighty. Attack.
Not believe.
Got him. Do 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 do.
Hey.
Oh. Well, that's cool.
Hey.
Let's see what happens. Oh. Oh, that's a lot of guys. Ooh, yeah. I'm getting quite the collection of books. grimoires.
Hey.
Curse of Blackened Sight. Combusting Wounds. Lingrass Displaced Image.
Hi, Daddy.
Hey, buddy.
You're right here.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Hey.
Margrin's fire casts light in dark places.
Let's head north.
Dead on.
Got the same spells.
Indeed. Hey.
Margrin's fire casts light in dark places.
You're dead.
Dead on.
Keeping an eye out.
A simple test. That's settled.
Alright. Okay. I'll just throw a little fireball right in the middle there.
Aye?
And go back. Where's... Okay.
Love.
Dead on.
Leave it to me!
Kablam.
Hey. Of course.
Aloth falters and brings a hand to his forehead. He takes a staggering step forward, coughing and sputtering.
Back you, Claude! Those hooded fiends are nigh to be trusted!
Probably not, but that's no reason to be rude. Kana glances over at Aloth and frowns. Aloth, are you unwell? It's nothing. I'm fine. This probably isn't the best place to linger anyhow. Weird.
I'll see what I can find.
Alrighty. This one. Okay. Where is he? What's he doing over there? It's not good. Not good. I'm stuck. Okay.
Praise the Lord.
Crumpled at your feet lies the body of a woman. She wears a dark robe that bears an insignia resembling a key. As you approach the woman's body, feelings of rage assault you. The dead woman's voice howls in your ears, and her lingering consciousness rends at you. Her essence tingles through your bones and membranes. It fills the spaces between your ears and behind your eyes, clawing deeper into your core. You see a gathering of men and women wearing robes like hers, their face hidden behind masks. One by one they approach her, whom they know as an acolyte, and she places her hand on each of their foreheads, searching their thoughts. She tests them with ritualistic questions, and they answer that their oath is sealed by the leaden key. She asks them of their tasks. She gives them new ones, and without a word, try to see the tasks. Her essence flares, fighting to boil your blood, burn your memory, and splinter your bones from within. Yet between its strikes you see flashes of something else, a tower, a prisoner, and a ruin. You funnel all your concentration into a single effort of will, a sharp point that pins the raging soul in place like an insect in a display case. With the thing under your control, you're able to examine it and the three thoughts swirling inside. Look into the ruins? The Acolyte's vision takes you out of Defiance Bay into a town in the wilderness with a watermill. A signpost on one of the paths reads, Deerford. Several figures huddle together, shrouded in cloaks and hoods. An image of the ruins suddenly looms in your mind. Two skeletal effigies flank a cleft in a mountainside. Streaming in the middle of the day. Sort of? Inquire about the prisoner. How are you, B. Hardage? In your mind, you see a building magnificent with trellises and tiles and located on a pristine boulevard. The wealthy and learned stroll in and out, trading knowledge and a coin. Yet it also houses misery and madness. Somewhere within this rotten core sits a man, his hair matted but his eyes alert. He watches and waits, a prisoner by choice. The tower. You see a palimpsest of a neighborhood. Run-down estates are cobbled around a cemetery and an ancient tower. Savage shapes prowl the streets, and in the tower a man hunches over a strange mechanism. You can't see him clearly, but there's something unnatural about him. Somewhere nearby you see a woman with a scar over her heart. You understand that she has something he needs. You also see a door in the base of the tower, a seemingly impenetrable slab of stone and copper. But then the Acolyte reveals the invisible split between the perfectly matched halves, and you understand how the copper veins convert a command into action. You know how to open the door. Okay.
Hey.
Do I read all the text? Sort of. I don't read books, like any of the books or scrolls that I find. I pick them up, but I don't read them. But I do try to read anything like conversations and stuff like that. So far, that is working out a-okay. Aha. Fine robe. Okay.
Hey.
I shall be discreet.
Let us look. Bound and Buried added. This quest expires on one day. 15% experience, binding rope, 150 to 300 copper and treasure, minor item. Expires in 24 hours. The head of a dead virgin that was bound and buried alive can cure a hollowborn. Not only has it resulted in horrific attacks against young women, but unscrupulous merchants have taken to selling bits of hair to those who don't have the stomach to perform the acts themselves. A sign? Okay. Do it. Do it to it. I can automatically pause the game if I need to.
Hey.
But I have auto pause commands set up for if I encounter an enemy, it will auto pause
Of course.
so that I can get set up. What other things? Low endurance, low health, hidden object. Any of those things will auto pause the game for me. Hidden wall. Or hidden door. Torque of Defiance. Plus 10 concentration. Ooh. That would be good. I need to put some of these books up. Where would that go? Oh, only usable by ranger. Okay.
Hey.
Nice. All right. Clear. Where am I?
You must have seen some amazing sights on your way
A
north.
moment, please.
Sure.
I feel I
Pirate
should
cities
explain
floating in
myself.
the archipelago. The mountain halls of these northern dwarves? Plenty.
I haven't been further south than the Deerwood myself. Maybe I'll come back after I've convinced the Ranga Nui and see all those things for myself.
I hope you do.
Looks like Aloth wants to talk.
About my episode in the catacombs. There's something I should have told you earlier.
So tell me now. I meant no harm. I thought I could keep it to myself. That's when we resolved the matter of your souls. We would also address my problem.
I also have an awakened soul. But unlike yours, mine is a presence that shares my senses and my skin, making herself manifest at the most unwelcome times.
He closes his eyes and grits his teeth. His lips quiver and twitch with the vestiges of some internal debate. Several seconds later, he opens his eyes again. They're watery and bloodshot.
I'm sorry. I've tried to learn to control Isilmir. I've gotten stronger, but so has she.
Tell me about Isilmir.
Artless, uncouth, a creature of rash impulses and feeble faculties. She wags her impertinent tongue when she should listen. Aye, this one's fit to boil. Hard to get this gaff over anything tisn't to do with books and spell speak.
I have none of her memories. Barath spared me that much, but her coarse manners and intolerable hill-speak suggest a provincial from a very, very long time ago. She tends to surface a hair's breadth from the conflict, when the fuse has burned down and teeth are on edge, and when she shows up, she doesn't stop to gauge the situation. She just acts. She seems reckless. That's it exactly. You recall the way she goaded those villagers in Gilded Vale. She doesn't think, and she doesn't back down. And trying to suppress that has been my problem for years. Why didn't you say something?
I learned to keep her a secret a very long time ago. Those with awakened souls are shunned, mistrusted. And after your experience with Meowald, I'm certain you can see why. You need to be careful.
Is this going to be a problem?
Merely an annoyance. Although, Defiance Bay is said to have an entire institution dedicated to the study and cure of soul-related ailments. Since our journeys have already brought us to the city, perhaps we could speak with someone there.
If it's helpful, we will go.
Thank you. This has been a great burden.
Could I talk directly to Isilmir? Her usurpations are uncomfortable enough. I'm not eager to invite her to my consciousness more than necessary. When did she awaken? My father was a strict man. He expected the best from his only child, and he didn't tolerate failure. At times he could be rather adamant, particularly when he had been drinking. Islamir manifested on one such occasion. To be honest, I don't remember the specifics, only that he was more careful with me after that. So this guy has multiple personality disorder.
Hey.
So now we're in the first fires. So we have some quests here. Find the heirloom breastplate. And the crucible keep in first fires. So let's just...
All right,
around.
then.
All these circling feet heading nowhere.
Valian Embassy. Vincent Agosti.
Greetings.
Tell me about the Valian Republics. They are rich in all ways, in wealth and style and culture. If you were to go to the Republics, you would not want to leave. Why would you? The people are beautiful and charming. I'm here because the Songreta Ducala wishes it. But when my appointment is done, I will be on the first ship out, and I will sing from here to Salona. If there's nothing else, I must return to my duties. What do you do here? As the Valian ambassador, my job is to ensure trade with the Dyrwood remains strong and profitable. Okay. A lot of locked chests. I'm no thief. Not a lot to do in there, surprisingly.
Ah, the life of a traveler. So many ruins to uncover, places to see.
Indeed. Though after 5 years. I'll be ready for a break.
It is true. You have been at it far longer than I. Where will you go next, when you have all the world to choose from?
Home, of course.
Speak with Chancellor Warren at the Hall of Records inside the palace. Sidley.
How do you do?
Any news to share, or are you just here to see the ducal palace? Who are you? I'm a page here at the palace. I deliver messages and run errands for the Duke and his advisors. The pay is not great, but I can't think of a better introduction to politics. Looking for news? What's the Ducal Palace? It's the seat of government here in the Defiance Bay. It's where Duke Admeth Hadret declared freedom from Adiran rule some 150 years ago. It's also a hotbed of regional politics. Trust me, the gossip here beats what you'll find in any tavern or brothel in the city. Ah, Dyrwood politics. It changes too quickly to be worth keeping up with. Better to strike up conversation in the taverns than try to loiter inconspicuously in the palace corridors. What goes on here? Where to start? We've got meetings, public hearings, and ceremonies, and that's just the stuff that happens out in the open. This is where the Duke and his key advisors work, so there's always someone bartering for a favor. Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to talk about that side of things. But if you want the official version, we have a shrine devoted to Magrin, official records, and chambers for public hearings and council meetings. What kind of records are stored here? Mostly dull official stuff, census counts, tax records, militia registers. Now I keep my distance. I got curious one day and got drafted into reshelving half the records. Worst day of my life. Is there a hearing going on right now? Sure is. Duke Avar's been meeting with some of the city leaders for weeks now, trying to figure out how to address the legacy. The whole business is terribly secret, though. I tried to sit at the gallery during my lunch break one day and got turned away. But a lot of the talk concerns animancy, so there's good reason they're keeping the meetings behind closed doors. I see. Tell me about the current Duke. That would be Avar Wolfgren. Don't let the title fool you, though. Our dukes have been elected since independence. Some find Duke Avar rather coarse. He's a frontier noble. Personally, I think a rough and tumble type is just what Defiance Bay needs.
How do you do?
Praise be to Magrin, and welcome to her temple. How may I be of service? You seem upset. This is about the fires, isn't it? They're just symbols. You can't put your faith in them. The fires? The sacred pyres all around town. You must have seen the statues of goddess around the city, holding up empty braziers. I've kept them burning steadily for 15 years, but I haven't been able to conjure them for months now, and people need to see them more than ever these days. Go light them. They don't work that way. They're holy fires. It's my devotion and prayers that keep them lit, but lately when I try to pray, all I can think about are the Hollowborn all over the city, the grieving families, the refugees. How could Magrin allow us to suffer like this? What strength do we gain from a soulless child? What strength do we gain from adversity, from trials and tests? The fires don't wither because she lacks in faith. They wither because she does not understand how to be faithful. A whore wants neither praise nor devotion. A whore wants to be compensated for her services, and Magrin is paid and pleasured in sweat and struggle and pain. This mewling imbecile is unworthy of Magrin's womanly heat. What? Take heart and don't abandon your faith too easily? You're right. Unfortunately, I believe Magrin's been speaking to me again. Lately I've been seeing visions. A place in the wilderness with pools filled with sunbursts of color. Strange falls that seem to rise to the heavens even while they splash into the earth. And behind the fall is a cave, filled with fire and heat and danger, and some token of my goddess. I know there's something there, but where it is or how gets there, or how I'd get there. I've been meaning to ask around at the expedition hall to see if anyone recognizes the description. To be honest, though, I don't know what I'd do even if I found the place. Worthless, like so many of Magrin's flock. Afraid of her god's tests. If Magrin speaks to her, it is to hasten an end to a hypocrite's life, and this vision is surely a death trap for the weak. I'd like to know about the temple here. Magrin is the most revered goddess among us Deerwoodans, so it's no surprise that her temple is part of the ducal palace. Her fires symbolize trials, revolutions, and the blazing of new paths, all which are important to us. This is the first of the sacred pyres. When this is lit, so are the rest around the city. Something else? What's the significance of the pyres? They symbolize Magrin's power and guidance, and right now the people of Defiance Bay need to be assured of her presence. Our neighbors in the Vailian Republic see us as superstitious, but we're just sensitive to the signs and warnings of the gods. Thank you for coming, Perrin Starflower. I've been trying to track you down for some time. This is Marshal Forwin Errol Bademar's military advisor. He will serve as witness for this proceeding. Oh, so we're going to... I have a keep, and I believe it's mine, but the records keepers believe that there's some contention on who owns the keep. Well met, Road Warden. Your reputation precedes you. I admit, you've created a bit of a stir throughout the nobility with your reclamation of Caed Nua. Most are still not sure what to think of you. What's this about? The legitimacy of your claim to Caed Nua is in question. Earl Bademar has issued a ruling on the matter. Caed Nua was abandoned for over a century, and I've claimed the land through strength of arms. My claim is legitimate. If there were no other claimant, you would be correct. Unfortunately, this is not the case. All will be made clear once Lord Gathman arrives. Do you have any questions for me while we wait? Tell me about Earl Bademar. Earl Bademar comes from an esteemed line of lords that rose to prominence after the War of Defiance some 150 years ago. The Deerwood consists of 7 earldoms. The Bademars govern the northern earldom known as the Grasp. As to the current Bademar, he is as fine a man as I know. It is an honor to serve him. That's all I need to know. What do you know of Gathman? And while I've met him but once, it was ample time to determine the character of Lord Arlder Gathman, or lack thereof. He is descended from an old Aediran line that predates the War of Defiance. His great-grandfather, Rannig Gathman, was the Earl of Yenwood during the war. That is, until he was stripped of his lands and driven from the Deerwood. Yenwood? When the Deerwood was a mere colony of Aedir, it was divided into 9 earldoms. When the Aedirans were defeated and ultimately driven out, 2 of the earldoms were absorbed and borders were adjusted. The Yenwood was one such earldom. The Grasp is now the largest of the 7 earldoms after it consumed the pre-war earldom of Yenwood. It encompasses notable settlements such as New Heomar, Gihren's Grasp, Gilded Vale, and of course Caed Nua. Earldom. Earldom. What was that about Road Warden? The one who rules Caed Nua on behalf of the Earl of Yenwood is traditionally known as the Road Warden. Your position might not be entirely official yet, but the title is an appropriate form of address. Your timing is impeccable. Here comes Lord Gathman now. An opulently dressed man strides towards the Chancellor, his sandy hair trailing him like a banner caught in a light breeze, boot heels echoing throughout the hall. An elven woman with cropped hair dressed in a dark, glinting mail shadows his steps before taking position alongside him. She watches you unabashedly, taking your measure. Let's move past this formality as quickly as possible. I have other matters to attend to. It's well known that Caed Nua belongs to me by right. And where is this pretender? He who murdered the Raedricks, my own sister and her husband, and now steals my land. Where is this low-born wretch? Warren clears his throat and glances at you. This man here, this is the Lord of Caed Nua? I thought he was just another servant, perhaps a valet or a porter. Raise your hand. Everyone who owns their own keep, raise a hand. Go on, don't be shy. Imbecile! I hope you've enjoyed your time squatting on my land. Provoke me further, and I'll hang you from the highest wall of Caed Nua when our business is finished. Chancellor, read the Earl's decree. Warren breaks the seal on the scroll and unfurls it. Regarding the matter of the Gathman claim on Caed Nua, Earl Bademar finds that the Gathman claim was never relinquished. By law, Caed Nua is the rightful property of the Gathman family. I knew it. I'm not yet finished reading, my lord. Gathman rolls his eyes and motions for the Chancellor to continue. However, the Earl recognizes Perrin Starflower's part in reclaiming Caed Nua, a site that has stood abandoned and even, some would say, cursed, for over a century. Before Caed Nua is returned to the Gathman family, the Earl has decreed that Lord Gathman will provide compensation in the form of... Absolutely not. My lord? The amount is quite reasonable and a requirement for your land to be returned to you, if you'll just allow me to finish. I'll not pay a single copper to this miscreant for my ancestral land. Do you think I'm blind to the Earl's motives, lackey? He thinks he can send a message with his insult. I have a message you can send that son of a whore. Enough. How dare you give me an order? My lord, I suggest you calm yourself immediately. The elven woman deftly draws a pistol from her thick leather belt. Her eyes widen in anticipation. My lords, please, there is no need for violence. Lord Gathman holds your gaze for several heartbeats, his eyes burning with hatred. I'll be coming for what's mine. Count on it. Come, Captain Emery, we're leaving. He sneers defiantly before storming down the hall. The captain lowers her pistol and gives a smirking shrug before following her employer. Well, that could have escalated. Well, I can't say that Gathman's reaction was entirely unexpected, though through no fault of your own, I'm afraid you've made a powerful enemy. He did seem a little upset, didn't he? I've heard he's always been vicious, even as a boy, and he can hold a grudge for a very long time. In any case, Caed Nua now officially belongs to you since Lord Gathman has rejected the Earl's decree. Here, this belonged to one of the old lords of Caed Nua. By right, it's yours now. Gerd Haywain Staines. Interesting. I can essentially pay him off, I can extend an olive branch, or I can threaten him, or do nothing. I have the money to pay him off, but I don't want to. And I don't want to threaten him, so I'll extend an invitation. That's a generous offer, and I'll make sure it reaches Lord Gathman. It was a pleasure to finally meet you, my lord. Perhaps we'll speak again under more pleasant circumstances. Farewell, Perrin Starflower.
Hey.
Cool. Ooh. Bound and buried completed. Though Sarah was unable to find the source of the rumors plaguing Road's End and surrounding earldom of Hell's Gate, the local authorities assisted in breaking up mobs, punishing would-be murderers, and preventing more young women from being buried alive. A particularly large and violent mob at Key Hill Cemetery required Sarah to rally the local soldiers and put down the primary troublemakers. On the body of the biggest belligerent, Sarah found an odd magical rope that he intended to use on a local young woman. A wizard advisor of the Earl of Hell's Gate suspected that the rope had been created by the same person responsible for spreading the rumors and inciting the attacks in the first place. Binding rope. +2 to Constitution. Awesome. Alright. I think I'm gonna call it for today. Thanks to everybody who was watching. Thank you, B. Hardage and Dwarven Dad, for chatting with me. Appreciate it very much. Again, not sure when I'm going to stream next, but I will tweet that out or get it out there some way. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time.